Sharks have been around for 450 million years. That's longer than trees. Trees! So maybe, just maybe, we should stop acting like sharks are just mindless killing machines and start giving them the respect they deserve. Today, we're going deep, and I mean really deep, to meet some of the strangest, most ridiculous, and genuinely terrifying sharks that exist. Some of them you've heard of, most of them you haven't, and a few of them are so weird you're going to question whether evolution was having a laugh. Let's go. Before we go into the deep end, let's talk about the sharks most people actually know about, the surface-level celebrities. Your great whites, your makos, your blue sharks. These guys are sleek, fast, and built like sports cars. Bluish-gray on top so they blend in from above, lighter underneath so they blend in from below. That's called counter-shading, and it's honestly a brilliant trick for a predator. These are the sharks that show up in movies and give people nightmares. Streamlined bodies, powerful tails, scary teeth, classic shark energy. But here's the thing, these guys are basically the tip of the iceberg. The more interesting stuff, it's below the surface, way below. Let's rewind. About 195 million years ago, during the early Jurassic period, the oldest group of modern sharks showed up. These are called the Hexanchiformes, which sounds like a spell from Harry Potter, but is actually just the scientific name for six-gill sharks. Here's where it gets interesting. While most sharks today have 5 gill slits, these ancient ones have 6 or 7. Why? Because they mostly live in deeper, oxygen-poor water. More gills equals more surface area to absorb oxygen. Simple, effective, old school. And since it works perfectly, evolution just left it alone. 2 sharks to know here. The frilled shark. This thing looks like someone crossed a snake with an eel and dared to call it a shark. Slim, long, with a head that looks nothing like what you'd expect. It's essentially a living fossil, barely changed since the Jurassic. If you showed this to someone who'd never seen a shark before, they would not guess what it is. They'd probably run. Then there's the blunt-nosed six-gill shark, a bit more classically shark-shaped, but with one dorsal fin placed weirdly far back on its body and an anal fin. Yes, anal fin. That's not a joke. It's a remnant from its ancient ancestors. It also has big, bright green eyes, which is less terrifying and more oddly cute a little. No? Okay, moving on. Here's the general rule. The deeper you go, the stranger the sharks get. The deep sea is dark, cold, high pressure, and low on nutrients. It's basically the worst place imaginable to live, and yet things do live there. Specifically, sharks that have figured out some truly creative survival strategies. Let's start with the Greenland shark, because this creature genuinely broke scientists' brains when they studied it. The Greenland shark grows to about 7.3 meters. That's bigger than a great white. Already impressive. But here's the actual jaw-dropper. It can live up to 500 years. 500! That means there are Greenland sharks swimming around right now that were alive during the 1500s. When Shakespeare was writing plays, a Greenland shark was out there, just existing, slowly. And slowly is the key word. The Greenland shark has an incredibly low metabolism. It barely moves, it barely eats, it conserves energy like it's paying a massive electricity bill. In the deep sea, where food is scarce, this is the only way to survive long term. Less energy spent equals to less energy needed. Genius, honestly. Deeply depressing lifestyle, but genius. It also dives to depths of around 2,200 meters, and its size is explained by something called deep-sea gigantism, the tendency for deep-sea creatures to grow larger than their shallow water relatives. Larger bodies lose heat more slowly, which matters when you're living in near-freezing water. It's basic physics turned into evolution. Now we need to talk about the Goblin shark, because it looks like it was designed by someone who'd never seen a shark before and was working purely from a description. Long, flat snout, pinkish, almost translucent skin, a jaw that can shoot forward out of its face to grab prey. Yes, the Goblin shark extends its jaw outward in a move that looks genuinely horrifying and is also incredibly effective in the deep sea, where you don't have the space or speed to chase things down. It also has a large, oily liver that helps it stay buoyant in very deep water without expending much energy. It's a slow, floppy ambush predator that lurks in the dark and fires its face at things. Honestly, respect. The Goblin shark is rarely seen, which is probably for the best for our collective sleep schedules. Not all deep-sea sharks are giant and terrifying. Meet the lantern shark, one of the smallest sharks in the world, barely bigger than your forearm. What it lacks in size, it makes up for in literal glow. Lantern sharks are bioluminescent, meaning they produce their own light. This isn't just for show. It helps them communicate with each other, and is thought to help with camouflage from below, where a faint belly glow matches the dim light filtering down from above. Small, glowing, electric. It's basically the most niche superhero origin story ever told. The cat shark takes things one step weirder. It doesn't just glow, it changes the color of light. It absorbs blue light and re-emits it as green light in a process called biofluorescence. Why? Apparently to communicate with potential mates. The ocean is dark. Blue light travels farthest, but the cat shark has evolved the ability to see the green glow that other cat sharks emit. So, while the ocean looks dark and blue to most creatures, cat sharks are having a little secret visual conversation that no one else can see. That is genuinely one of the coolest things a shark does. The cookie-cutter shark is small, about 50 centimeters long, and it has no business doing what it does. It attaches itself to animals much, much larger than itself, whales, dolphins, large fish, even submarines apparently, and uses its circular, serrated teeth to carve out a perfect plug of flesh. Then it swims away, just like that. A small shark boldly taking bites out of things that could swallow it whole. It's audacious, it's chaotic, it is, somehow, a totally viable evolutionary strategy. Here's a fact that puts things into perspective. The megamouth shark, one of the largest shark species on the planet, was only discovered in 1976. A creature that big, unknown to science until less than 50 years ago. It's a filter feeder, swimming slowly with its enormous mouth open, filtering out zooplankton. During the night, it comes up toward the surface where plankton are more abundant, then returns to the depths during the day. This behavior is called diel vertical migration, and the megamouth just follows the food up and down every single day. It's a massive, gentle, slow-moving shark that basically commutes. Very relatable. So, here's what's actually going on with sharks. The ones near the surface evolved to be fast, sleek, and aggressive because that's what works in the well-lit, food-rich shallows. The ones in the deep evolved to be slower, larger, stranger, and more efficient because that's what works when food is rare, light is gone, and pressure is crushing. Same animal, completely different solutions to completely different problems. That's not a monster. That's 450 million years of problem solving, running continuously in every corner of the ocean. Next time someone calls sharks mindless killing machines, tell them about the 500-year-old Greenland shark, slowly drifting through the dark, completely unbothered, having outlived entire civilizations. That's not scary. That's kind of impressive.